efficient. Okay, ready?
Once this is done. Yeah.
All right, we're back with Mission 6 of Survivors. Woo! KKnD 2.
There's like it's like a little typing pad.
No, it's like a little like laptop console thing that you get your missions on. Comlink, and notice that any excuse they have to replace a C with a K. Like the game is called Crush, Kill, and Destroy, and last time I checked, Crush was spelled with a C, but it's like if they were to have Contaminate, it would be spelled
K.
Contaminate. All right.
Commander, the freaks have found some turf they really like, so of course we want it. Their main camp is thick with defenses, but they've left their oil rigs fairly open on the outskirts. That's how we'll get them. Use the mobile outpost to start a second camp to maximize your time. Build up and stifle the freakers' growth before they get too cocky. And last one to the middle is a rotten egg. Or a dead commander. Dismissed.
Yeah, Crit and I were just looking at the little text that comes up on the right side there. It's always so like spastic, and there's just like the most random shit, like subliminal messages, and that was like, hey, this is a random number to pass the time. I was like,
There's a little piggy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
okay. So that's the okay. I remember we talking about there was a tech tree that gave you structures that gave you oil per time. That's the first level of the evolved tech tree is a little pig.
Yeah.
And the last one, there's like this giant like machine, and there's a whole bunch of pigs attached to it.
yeah, the little pig farm.
And that's also the first level of the tower next to it.
Yeah.
Moving.
Moving.
So what's
Affirmative.
the most efficient number of like oil rig machine things?
I like
3.
Yeah, I like
One
3,
to unload, one to pick up,
and then there's always one in transit. Yeah.
So it's kind of like mineral saturation, like anything over 16 when you're like mining something in StarCraft
Yeah.
is like oversaturated. You'll get more minerals, but not that much, like decreasing the amount of
I have a stipulation though. In this, like if there was like a full oil patch that had like all its oil still there, like it's a finite amount of resources, right? And you'll see that as like the blue bar over top of it. If there's not more than half, I only ever go with 2.
Yeah.
And you'll see me do some like long distance one in this because this is the first like big macro map. Like you see how much oil there is on the top. They really want you to like build a big base and build an army. And as I recall, I try and get away with building as little as possible for as long as possible.
Which is good macro.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
As long as like if you get
Only
a bigger
what I
economy,
need.
then yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you can build more later. In 20 minutes, you'd have way more to do.
Exactly. So I could have a super big army instead. And like I said, I was
wonder
going
what
for
that structure is down there.
the.
To the bottom left, there's like a. You see it?
Oh yeah, that's just like a ruined building.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one sees it.
You'll see it eventually.
Oh man,
I
so there was this huge thunderstorm that like took down a tree in Kyle's
There's
backyard.
there's two are down.
two
One
trees.
one is completely down,
There's-
and the other one is like stripped except for like
A
the
trunk.
husk.
Yeah,
Right? The husk
and
is still there.
Now there's a huge glare in this room.
Yeah.
Poor trees.
I know.
But poor our eyes.
I know. First world problems, right?
No.
It's like, well, even then, it's like some people have their like homes destroyed by the hurricanes. We live in southern Ontario, so we got like the
We've never
least of
experienced
it,
a
I guess,
hurricane.
yeah,
You would
but-
never experience a hurricane.
yeah.
We have like tornadoes sometimes, but not like near us really.
Yeah, and nothing like as devastating as what you get in the States sometimes, or
I
like
have scary
around the
tornado
coast.
dreams. I get really headaches.
Tornadoes are scary.
I used to be deathly afraid of tornadoes.
Yeah.
That was like my biggest fear as a child. One of my biggest fears. Are you dying?
No, I'll be fine. If I kept this, I lived through this somehow. Maybe? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Suicide dive.
Yeah, see,
oh, and
like I
another
said-
thing is that there's an air attack, right? And you get like fucking, let's say you have the evolved. Well, actually every race has like a bomber. It doesn't actually really matter. Anyway, so if you have a fucking like flying thing and it's like low on health, you can like fly it into their base, and as soon as it dies, it lands and just like makes a huge path of destruction and does damage to like everything around it, which like is not something I've seen in like any other game. There's probably some games that have it, but like it's not that pronounced.
Yeah, in this one, definitely your aircraft can be a double-edged sword. Like you can, if they're attacking, you can do a lot of extra damage by crash landing and like into like a bunch of buildings or like towers or units or something. But if you're defending with them, then oh god, like you could end up killing some of your own units with that. Like,
and it's also hard to aim where like you can't just be like, okay, die here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it dies and then it shoots in that direction.
Once the aircraft are airborne, they're always in constant motion. They never stop unless they land.
And like bombers, they have to land right to refuel.
Yeah, not refuel, rearm.
Rearm. Yeah. Do you have like a place that you have to do it?
No, they can land anywhere to rearm, but they have to land to get. Like they can do 2 bombing runs and then they have to land.
Yeah, which is so cool. Yeah. Which makes sense because the bomber is supposed to be like pretty quick, but if you load it up with fucking like bombs, it's not gonna be that goddamn quick. The intro. We forgot to show the intro.
Do we want to put the intro? Okay, so
sometime we have to like talk about the intro.
Okay.
And like do it because there's oh my god, it's so funny. If you guys have not seen the KKnD 2,
go look up the intro for this game.
It's so
KKnD Krossfire, KKnD 2 Krossfire intro.
Yeah.
Yes, do it. Pause this video and do it.
Yeah, it's just goddamn funny.
Oh, it's so good. It's one of the best intro sequences.
Yeah.
Like we'll continue to sing the praise of this song or this game because it's so good. Like, especially for 1999, was it?
It was either that or 1998.
Yeah.
It was really...
The year after StarCraft. Yeah. StarCraft 1. And I don't know my...
Dude, I don't know stuff. He's building a wall. It looks like it's growing.
Okay. It gets...
And now, look how it stops when he's out of oil.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. In games like StarCraft, you have to have the money before you can, like, pay for the unit, right? Like, if you have 96 minerals and you want to build a zealot, you can't. Whereas if you have 96 oil and it costs 100 to make a unit, you can still build it. It will get to almost complete, and then it'll wait for the extra 4 oil.
And if you cancel it, then you get it all back.
Yeah. So these are my favorite units of all time. They're called Barrage Craft, and they're basically...
Wait, no. What's the game called, Kyle, that you wanted me to play all the time? With Mass.
Oh, Supreme Commander.
So it's very Supreme Commander-esque.
Yes.
As I know, that's the same kind of resource management thing. So this is way easier. Fucking that game, I fucking like with macros so hard, and I don't understand. I just never had enough mass.
It was tough. It was like
that was hard game.
Yeah,
man.
Supreme Commander is one of those games that you have to know exactly what you're doing, and you have to have a really tight build, and like be it like. The meta game is basically being able to like get your economy running without dying, and then there was these really cheesy rushes where you would put 8 or 6 maybe of the light response bots into a transport ship, like a transport ship would pick them up, and then the response bots could shoot from the transport ship, so you'd basically have this like super powerful flying gunship right off the bat.
Oh. Yeah.
And it was so hard to deal with that, and like literally all you needed to do was get a couple AAs, like just anticipate that was gonna happen.
Scouting, man.
Or like what I would do is I would play UEF, and I would what would I do? I open with a air factory instead of a land factory, and I would always get at least one interceptor. To be able to like take that thing out, and then I would go for a gunship rush.
I like how there's a tube coming out of the pig's butt. Can you please do a close-up animation of that?
I can try it.
I promise you nothing, Karen.
Good old.
It's like, let's harvest.
I'm like, I've got the very basics of editing down. Like I know the dual perspective. Like it looks really cool and it looks really complicated, but it's really not. It's basically just switching between 2 videos.
It's simple. Like you can. Okay, Kyle does it well, and it's a simple edit. But like to do it well, you'd have to know like what we're talking. He'd be like, Corinne's talking about something Pandora, like I'm talking about. It's just tedious.
Yeah, the most difficult part about it is actually going through and watching the games and deciding what's more important and what's more relevant.
Oh.
Whereas with something like this, basically all I have to do is slap the video and sync the audio.
Like
with the
right
video.
here, you were sitting there for like 5 seconds, so you take a crop of that and then you place it back.
Yeah.
Like right now, there's 4 seconds there, and you put it on loop. Actually, you only need like a second, and it would be on loop.
Research complete.
Whoa!
Woo.
Woo! Editing, making more work for Kyle.
Yeah.
I have no problem with this.
I'm sure you don't.
Low oil warning.
I'll do it. I'll make it like this level, because this is going to be the only level for this episode. It's getting to the point where it takes a little bit longer to actually like beat the mission. So I'm only going to be doing 1 mission per survivor. Like we'll get to the evolved in the series 9. I think those actually might be coming up next in the little cute thing that I made.
The thing is googly eyes too.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, there's something up my butt! Woo!
He's just like making sure like no one comes around and like, it's like no, just leave me here. Like,
I'm content.
don't
like
touch
this.
me.
I'm content.
It hurts when you touch me.
Oh, there's the death hippos.
Oh yeah.
They're definitely not as good as Barrage Craft.
No, the evolved have the worst like
tier
what do we
3
call them?
tier
What do
3
we-
amphibious units.
No,
Low
Kyle,
oil
too
warning.
long. What do we call that tech tree of like tanks and shit?
Vehicles.
So the evolved have the worst vehicles. But the best towers. Look at that fucking tower
Yeah,
build.
it's gonna wreck all my shit
Like
here.
all the time, man.
I'm
It's
like
just like
barely
spinning
gonna
at
break
you.
this.
The barrage craft, so that's the one going whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah, that's the one with the missile launchers. That's like.
That goes over water. Kyle's fucking strategy against me was to make fucking like 100 of them. Like he'd just make all of them, and no composition I could ever get. It's like fucking massing Thors. Like I was just like, Kyle, how do you beat this? And you're like, I don't know, Corinne. Let's play again. I was still not doing it.
Yo, my strategies involved flamethrower drops, mass barrage craft, and always getting the tech bunkers so you couldn't get them.
Kyle sucks. Kyle was such a bitch to play with.
Hey, I was bad. I was bad back then. But then again, it's like
You're all bad.
Yeah, if you didn't get introduced to it like that, you would have never. And then
Well, that's why I'm such a defensive player. This is why I choose Zerg. Is
Yeah.
whenever let's play Age of Empires, and Kyle would just like attack me and I'd defend. Like that's my role.
Yeah.
Defending player.
Yeah,
And that's why Kyle's so aggressive and plays Terran.
Yeah.
Kyle forced me into Zerg, although Zerg is cool.
Yeah.
The moment that I realized I wanted to be Zerg was when I was looking closely at the building and realized that it was breathing. There was like fucking Zerg structures that were respiring. And I was like, my 13-year-old mom was like, that's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Man, that shit. I was like, really fucked up back then.
Basically, I was like, oh, sweet, toys and guns and stuff. It's like, what can I get done with this? What can I get done with a giant amphibious craft that shoots missiles? What can I get
Also-
done with 100 of them?
Yeah, that's the Barrage Craft is in the intro, and it's just like
Yeah.
it. What I like about the intro is that it shows like tiny moments where like it's kind of like the comics that I wanted to do about StarCraft, where it's like a tiny moment that could occur in gameplay that looks like insignificant, but like it could occur. Like so, the Barrage Craft was out of range and had to make like a series of calculations to be like, I have to move forward to like get into range of hitting this.
Yeah.
It's just realistic in that sense. Like it shows those little moments that it's not always like action packed, but those moments are really cool because it shows that they put time into this. Like, kind of, I don't want to call it folklore because there's no folklore here, but like background,
Yeah.
like how everything functions.
It's hilarious too. Okay, so going back to talking about the intro, we might as well talk about the intro for this. The Barrage Craft, at first it's like there's like Mastodon, which is the evolved elephant with a cannon on its back kind of thing. So it's in the distance, and the Barrage Craft is like beep 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 boop. Right, it's awesome. And then it's like, hey, there's an oil rig there, or maybe it blew up the oil rig first, and then it saw the Mastodon. But then it's like, gant, like out of range or whatever, and then you just see it go and like move forward. But like the biggest tank that the Survivor Army has is called the Juggernaut, and you see it come over a hill and it's chasing one of like the medicins or whatever they're called. They're evolved repair guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's chasing him through a forest, and it's just shooting its cannon, but like missing horrifically.
Yeah.
And then you see a shot from like inside the tank.
There's two guys sitting there
And the
being
one,
like,
yeah. And the one guy's like targets locked and acquired, Commander. Hold your fire! I got a better idea. And then they just run him over.
And there's just like blood smeared over one of,
Yeah, on one of the tracks.
The tracks that squished him. It was just like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like little moments like that. It's just like a really kind of clever game.
Yeah.
And the intro, like the first part of the intro has like a dun, dun, like a really slow pace, kind of like, I don't know, narrative. Some groups just don't get along.
The nuclear wars of 2079 left only a few creatures alive. Some hid safe underground. And those, that they were formed the survivor. I don't remember the exact narrative.
You guys watch it. It's
Yeah,
good.
just go watch it. It's so good.
Oh, watch it.
No, some groups just don't. I always thought that was like hilarious because like this is when I was, when I was just discovering like, I shouldn't say discovering religion, but like concepts of religion and like politics, and like coming to terms with that the fact that the world wasn't like a unified thing, and that there was war and death and people hating each other. Like it's something you come to terms with when you're in your teenage years, that you acknowledge that it exists at least.
Yeah.
So that was always one of the things that stuck in my mind, is that no, some groups just don't get along. Pew 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 pew.
That always ruined that for me. That would be like, Santa Claus doesn't exist, Corinne. No, you told me magic didn't exist.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kyle,
But it does exist.
but let me believe. And he wouldn't let me believe.
I ruined your childhood. I was like, no, it doesn't exist. Go look it up on the internet. It was like dial-up.
I remember going to like science camp and learning how to use the internet. Like that was a big thing, and I felt so like tech savvy. I was like, I know how to use the internet.
Woo, internet. Yeah, for me it was like I was part of the first wave of Flash animators.
Do you have any of them?
I think so.
Please find them.
I'll try and find them. Anyway,
use them as the
I
intros.
was really like insignificant. I never like got good. But
they were all
funny.
stickmen or like tanks and battles, and like there's one part where you had like a fucking like tank or whatever, and it had like a huge beam, and you like had like an inner beam, and you like inverted the beam so that it looked like it was like flashing and exploding,
and then it blew up the Earth. Yeah, every single one of my videos, the Earth was destroyed. My favorite one was like, I put it to the end of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Yeah, anyway, it was like, hey, here's a bunch of missiles, and they were like all like really badly drawn missiles, and it was like right when I figured out how to like copy keyframes, so I just had this series of like, oh, this missile got launched, and then they went to like the locations in the world and just like blew up. I had a really destructive mind. It's what would happen if like if somebody hacked the defense network of like the United States and just like launched every single missile. Anyway, GG!